And just like that, I am back. Happy Thursday to you. Okay. Listen, that time went by quick, right? So, thank you for joining me on tonight's podcast. I am your host, as always, Dina. And tonight we were supposed to have my guest back tonight, but due to an emergency, she cannot be on with us tonight. However, I still got y'all because I'm gonna pick it back off of something that she said on yesterday. Okay, but before we get there, if you have not subscribed to my channel, you already know what to do. Go ahead and hit that button, subscribe to the channel at Journey with Dina. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you will be notified when I go live. Okay? That's all I ask. If you are watching a replay, make sure you drop down in the comments and put that you are watching a replay and give me some feedback on what you think about it so far. Okay? And as always, when you jump on, make sure you drop down in the comments and tell me hello. Don't be rude. Speak to me. I'll speak back. Okay? So, as you know, for the past week, probably 2 weeks, we have been on the journey of in the waiting period, right? The waiting period. That is the time, the meantime, the in between time from, I would say, process to promise, okay? And so we all know, like I said, I have been sharing my perspective and my journey on preparing and all things in between for a kingdom relationship, kingdom marriage, okay? So we all know that the waiting period, like I said, is a necessary part of God's plan, right? It's necessary. Even after we have done all that we're supposed to do, everything we've healed, we've identified that kingdom partner, everything that we have done, and sometimes more than likely we still have a waiting period to go through. Okay, it's just necessary though, because it's so much being developed and done during that period, not just you for that person, but some things that God wants to bring out of you even before He puts you there, right? So tonight I'm still doing this week on faith building while in the waiting period. So as I was deciding or kind of praying on what I was gonna talk about tonight, the Lord kind of gave me a situation that happened between me and Shay. And if you don't know, so that means that you didn't watch the podcast on last night. So you have to go back and watch the podcast on last night, okay? And then you'll kind of know what I'm talking about because I'm not going to tell you everything that happened on last night. So you got to go on back over there and watch it yourself, right? However, I will tell you this because it ties into my storyline for tonight. So I had a young lady on, Shay, and like I said, we've been friends for over 20 years. So we have been journeying through a lot of different seasons together. Her daughter is actually my goddaughter. So we have been friends for a very long time. And I think through her season that she kind of talked about yesterday about her two marriages that she had, during her second marriage is when this kind of reflection came about myself, right? So one thing that really kills our spirit, our faith, and knocks it all the way down during the waiting period is the spirit of comparison. Yes, comparing your life to somebody else's life because of maybe what you see on Facebook, Instagram, on social media, period. And even if you see them or know them, in person, you sometimes things seem to create a storyline yourself, right? So you just take what you think you know and see, and you just assume a lot of stuff. Baby, that kills your peace. That have you overthinking and a whole lot of other things, right? So, as I was preparing, like I said, and asking God, that situation came up. And the situation was because when Shay had got married, I think she knows this. We've already talked about this, so this ain't nothing new. And it's, it is what it is. We already got through this, right? So, when she got married, her second time around, and I was so happy for her. And I was happy because she finally, I felt, got what she was looking for, which was love. And she hadn't gotten married. And, she was just happy, and she was just, as I say, glowing and traveling and enjoying her life, from the posts and the pictures that you can see. And it was just all good. And I was happy that she got what she desired, right? So I thought I was. So when I started, like I told y'all before, I did this 25-day fast called the Year of the Bride. On the first day of that fast, the lady had us to do some things on that first day, right? So that first day, it released some things in you that you didn't know you had. And for me, mine one was I was holding a grudge against somebody. And so I had to call and apologize to that person. It had been years. And I had to call and apologize to them and tell them I had been holding a grudge and the way I had been reacting. Yes, little old nice Christian me was acting ugly because of a situation that happened, and I was holding a grudge. So on the very first day, I had to do that. And the second thing that I had to do was, here I go telling y'all my business again. It was brought to my attention through the fast on the very first day now that I was envious. Yes, I was envious. I was like, what? What I realized is that I felt envious because I felt like, when is it gonna be my turn? Why is everybody else, being able to get married and get things before I am? I try to do the right thing. I try to, go to church, and I try to, do the things that you think that you're supposed to be doing. But I was envious, and I didn't even realize it. And I remember one day I was like, God, so like, what is going on? When is it gonna be my turn? How you gonna bless somebody else before me? And God told me, who are you to tell me who to bless and when to bless? Yes, y'all, that's what God told me. I was like, ooh, what they say, I had to clutch my pearls. I was like, oh my, okay. And so, with that being said, I had to actually call Shay and to tell her that, because that was a part of my healing on that very first day of doing that fast. And I didn't even realize that until the lady had us doing the exercises and that came out. I was like, oh my God. And so after it came out, I called her and I told her that I was so happy for her because she got what she wanted and what she deserved. And I felt bad after the fact because, just like she said on yesterday, well, I didn't feel bad. Let me take that back. I was glad that she hadn't gotten married and she was enjoying her life and she was traveling and doing all these great things. What I seen on the outside looking in. But what I learned once we actually started talking, that it was not what I thought it was. So now here you are being envious of a picture that you have painted in your head. How many times have we been envious of somebody else because so we think God has blessed them in a different way than us, or in a different time than us? Like, when is it gonna be my time? And you sitting here mad and envious because of something. And it don't even really have to be just about, marriage or a relationship, but that was my thing. You could be looking at somebody's page and assuming other things, and that's not even what it is. And so I didn't realize that until I was on that fast and the Lord brought it to my attention. And I had to quickly correct that, because God doesn't want us to be envious of anybody, because your blessing is your blessing, my blessing and my blessing. My time and your time is different times. And we have to learn to be genuinely happy for other people and not envious because of the things that they have or what they're going through, or it seems like everything is glitter and glam. No, that spirit of comparison will kill your peace and your joy and have you overthinking and have you mad at people and you don't even know the whole story. And once I actually had a conversation with her and we started unloading some things and unpacking some things, I was like, oh my God, all of this time, I just took it upon myself and I felt like I just ran with the picture that I seen. And that was not the case. And so that really started to change my perception of things, especially like with social media. And I remember not long after that, I actually was the co-coordinator for the singles ministry in my old church. And so we did a panel one night. It was the singles, married couple, and I think it was a person that had been divorced, I think. And one of my questions was, how do you, I think it was like, how do you react when you see, like, by you being single and you see people on social media that, are married, they're happy, they're traveling, they're enjoying their lives, they're doing this, that, and the other. I said, my reaction to that is, I know people in real life. And a lot of things that people post, only a smidgen of it may be the real thing. Sometimes it is the real thing. But you can't just look at somebody post and assume that their life is a different kind of way because of what you see. So stop comparing. I had to learn how to stop comparing my life to what I see on social media. So that was my essence that I told them. I said, I don't compare my life to people anymore on social media because a lot of people, I know what it is and what it ain't. So I'm not going to try to compare my life or move my life around to fit something that's probably not a reality. Now, I'm not saying everybody that's on social media paints this picture. I'm just saying you don't know. So let's get in the habit of not trying to compare our lives to what's going on social media. Okay? Because when you are in the will of God, your time is not everybody else's time. God's time is so different. And in the waiting period, it is sometimes you get to a point where you be frustrated because you feel like things are not moving in the time that you wanted to move and other people are moving ahead of you. Guess what? God has a time attached to everything. Yes, everything. Even in the Bible, as the scripture said, to everything there is a season and a time. Everything. So just because your time might came a little sooner than mine, it don't cut me short for nothing, all right? Because when my time comes, it's gonna shine just like your time came, right? So I learned to, like I said, through that fasting and getting some things out. Like I urge y'all, if y'all never did a fast before, the 25-day fast for the Year of the Bride by Tiffany Montgomery, amazing. I think I'm gonna actually find me somebody to start it with again. It's a 25-day fast, from like 7 to 3, and it has scriptures. You do your homework assignment, you do your breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and we had communion each time. I mean, that fast changed my whole mindset of things, and it was amazing. So with that, like I said, I just want to jump on and share that it gave me a different perception of what it is. So don't compare your life to nobody else, right? So while you are in the waiting period, it will be some good days, some bad days, and some bad days in between. But it's okay because God already knows how we're feeling, right? Because listen, I had me a whole cried out loud to the Lord today. Okay, well, listen, I had to get my mind right. And I had to speak with authority and tell it what it is. You ain't gonna have me. I'm gonna tell you what it is, okay? And I listen. You know, after I got through, they knew, and I had to turn around and look and say, "Oh, was that me?" Because I was speaking with authority. Okay, so I just jumped on tonight to let y'all know that, and just to say about the spirit of comparison, honey, throw that out the window. Don't worry about their race, their time. I don't care how old you be when you get to where you're supposed to be going, you still right on time. Why? Because God controls time. And to everything, there is a time and a season, and God has it attached to whatever for whatever reason. Okay? So that's all I got for y'all. I just want to jump on and say that real quick. Hey, Angela, how are you? The waiting period. Listen, let me shout out my girl Angela. She did something today off our list, y'all, and she called me and she was excited about it. So that made me feel glad that she got something out of the podcast and she took it and she ran with it and she did something for herself. that lets me know that, hey, my living is not in vain, because they got a song said that if I can help somebody else while as I travel along the way, then my living won't be in vain. That's all I got. I just want to jump on to encourage you to continue to wait well, because you never know when it's going to happen, okay? Because y'all know my word is closer than you think, okay? So y'all enjoy y'all weekend and just marinate on some things. And I'm going to let y'all have the rest of the week off, okay? But I will be back on Monday, because we are still in the waiting period until God releases me out of the waiting period, okay? So that's all I got. Y'all enjoy y'all evening. I'll see y'all next week.